Happy 4th of July, everyone! As I mentioned in my custom Trackmaster 2816 video, I was planning to make a separate video showcasing all of the custom American engines for the Plarail and Trackmaster lines. It all began from watching Mr. A's American Tales from last year, which yours truly starred in a few roles. But it did inspire me to make a custom for myself in late July, and it kinda got out of control since then, as you can see here. 16 engines in total, and I'm proud of it. So, let's go through all of the customs in the order they were made. Starting off, we have the Penske K4 made from a Trackmaster Hank. I originally bought this with the intention of using the face from my O-gauge Hank that was nearing completion at the time. Of course, the face was too small so I couldn't use it. Thankfully, it was easy to paint and remove the face for a clay smoke box and headlight. I do hope to get that power tendered someday to go with this engine and get some milliput to fill in the gaps that have been left behind. Next up is the famous Dreyfuss Hudson from the New York Central. Using a Plarail Connor, the process was similar to the K4. Remove the face, make a clay nose, and a simple repaint. While the Plarail model has good detail and accurate skull and disc drivers, I'm not a fan of how long it is and how it made the Skyline casing flush with the boiler compared to the Trackmaster version. Still came out pretty good though. Here's the Baltimore, Ohio's Royal Blue, using the Plarail Caitlin for the base. Nothing special about the process, just a repeat of the first two engines. This has actually gone through two bullet nose changes. The current one you see now is the more defined version, as the first version looked more like a fat crayon. Definitely looks so much better.
All aboard! Let's go!
Bet you didn't see this coming. Casey Jr. in Plarail form. This was made using one of the Western River Railroad engines Plarail makes for the Tokyo Disneyland Resort, and completed just in time for last year's trip to Disney World. I had to replace the tender cover for the battery as it came with a weird cartoony bunker compared to the others in the range. Still really glad with how Casey turned out though. Would love it if they made an official version of him. And here's Rosie. This is her in the Keystone livery as seen in Carson's video, Stop and Smell the Roses. I know most fans prefer her working at Southampton docks, but I dig this version as it's very unique. Not much to say about the painting process though, just a simple model to do. Back to the big engines with Grand Trunk Western 6407. I was originally going to use this for a custom of Vinny, but as I failed to get the face off the wooden railway version, I just left it as a regular engine. Sadly, this won't run again because of a mistake I made. The Trackmaster Connors have this block that holds the face, and is used to keep the shell screwed to the chassis. But as this was my first attempt, some super glue meant for the structure got into the screw hole, and this won't be coming out, no matter how much I try drilling into this. At least I learned my lesson with the layer engines. If you want a good version of Vinny, however, look at the one made by Duke on Blue Sky. He really did a far better job of this. Staying in the Michigan area, we have everyone's favorite Berkshire, Pere Marquette 1225. Using Connor as a base, I cut off the streamlining and used clay to model the boiler top, domes, and feedwater here. I actually just completed this after a few months on the back burner, and while it's not as good as the layer models, it still looks pretty decent. Next is one of two F units I made, the first being Chicago Northwestern number 403. This, along with the next F unit, were made using a Plarail Wilson from the Chuggington range. I had to modify the cab roofs to get rid of the siren equipment in order to make the horns. Still pleased with how this turned out, especially with the paint. And here's the other F unit, Santa Fe 347C. You can't have a custom of an F unit without making one of them in the famous War Bonnet livery. Nothing special about this one, just the same process as 403. It's missing the second headlight, but I left it off to fit the logo. Now we're getting into some Union Pacific engines. First up being the M10003 City of Denver. Using Harrison as a base, I had to do some slight modifications to make it closer to the prototype. While the rest of the engine looks good, the front could use a little cleanup. I put the clay on the grill after the fact, which is why it's a bit of a mess. Easy to fix though. Next is the famous Centennial 6936, as preserved by the railroading heritage of Midwest America. Just a simple repaint using Zack as the base. This was the first time I used water slide decals for the model, and for my first attempt, it came out pretty well. So much better than hand painting the logos. We got a porter on our hands. This one is specifically Brooklyn Eastern District Terminal number 14, instead of the more popular number 15 used as Thomas at the Strasburg Railroad. Not much to say here in terms of how it was made. Heading up to the White Mountains, we have Climax number 6 from Clark's Trading Post. I used Ferdinand as the base to make this. It's honestly the most ornate of all the engines I have. I also attached the front coupling as the Clark engines are known to push trains up the line. It's just a pity the motor's messed up at the moment. I tried repairing a cracked gear on the main drive wheel, but it's been funky ever since. I'll have to find someone who's better at repairing this. In addition, I'm also in the process of making 2 coaches using 2 red trucks that came with Rosie. One has the base complete, while the other is being used to store spare parts. Next up is one of my top favorites of the collection, Canadian Pacific 2816. But you've already seen how this was made as I just made a video on it. Still proud of how things turned out. The next 2 engines are ones close to completion. The first is an Ann Arbor GP35. I used a Plarail Dunbar, extended the front, and made a new nose to make it look like a proper Jeep. All that's missing are the decals and the plow, and I will be buying those at some point to make the engine more finished. Really pleased with how this is turning out though. And our final engine in progress is the Delaware and Hudson Shark Nose. Just like the GP35, it is in need of some decals. Admittedly, the finish on the body could have been better as I was trying to remove the extra paneling from the model, but as they say, it could have been much worse. Oh, but wait! There's one more engine that I just completed, the famous Flying Scotsman in its USA Tour guise. This was made using a Plarail Gorn from 2015 alongside 2 Spencer tenders, with one that being modified to be the water tender. All that's missing is the nameplates, but even without them, this came out beautifully. Definitely another contender for best custom I own. And that's the entirety of the collection. Boy, that was quite a list to go through. I am very proud with how this collection has built up in the past year. I definitely plan to do more customs in the future, but for now, I'm gonna take a break for a while. So, which custom is your favorite in the roster? Comment down below. Before I go, I want to give a shout out to 2 YouTubers. The first goes to Senkaku Benta. I hope I pronounced that right. I started watching their videos late last year, and the work they put into their customs is absolutely stunning. They made a Shay, a Pensy T1, and a cab forward, along with some custom rolling stock to go with them. The second shout out goes to Trackmaster Tehachapi. He's been working on recreating Tehachapi Pass as a Trackmaster layout, and from what I've seen so far, he's doing a really good job. He also 3D prints custom shells for his models, ranging from the Gevos to a current big boy in progress. Definitely give these 2 a watch, you won't regret seeing their content. With all that wrapped up, thanks for watching, and happy Independence Day.